making roast. We're making roast here at the Young's house, and I am so excited to show you how to make your roast taste spectacular, Gina Young style. I hope y'all are having a great day today. And if you're not, hopefully I can brighten up your day with this here recipe. Happy Thursday. I hope your day is absolutely amazing. Here's what you're gonna need. Now, when I'm making a roast, the type of meat that I'd like to use is always gonna be a boneless beef chuck roast. I have washed it off using lemon juice, salt, and cold water. And then, we scrub it with the lemon juice or the lime juice, the salt and the cold water, then you give it a nice pat dry. You're gonna need some broth. You don't have to have beef broth, but I'm using beef broth. If you have chicken broth, vegetable broth, whatever, you can use it, okay? Got some lovely tomatoes. Absolutely, I'm putting tomatoes in mine. You're gonna need some tomato paste, a really interesting ingredient. We're gonna be using some flour. I have some Sazon. It's a Sazon seasoning pack. It makes everything taste delicious and gives a great color to whatever you're cooking, okay? You're gonna need some nice fresh garlic, not the kind that comes in a jar, not the kind that's packed in the oil or the water. When you're using fresh garlic, you're gonna get the best taste, okay? Nice sweet Vidalia onion, okay? We got a gorgeous green bell pepper, some red wine, and we also have some little baby potatoes here. And we're gonna put some carrots in. I got some spices so everything can come together and taste amazing. Here's what I'm using. For my salt today, I'm using chicken bouillon powder. If you don't want to use it or you don't have it, you can use salt. We have garlic and onion powder, parsley flakes for color, and some pepper. Make sure your hands are clean. Let's make delicious pot roast today. Now the first thing we're gonna do, let's go ahead and season this meat up. Let's give it some good flavor, and if you're afraid to season your food, it's gonna be flavorless. Sure it is, right? So we're gonna go right in with some black pepper, if I can get it open. There we go. Nice black pepper. I'm gonna flip it over and season the other side very well. This is a large piece of meat, so we gotta put a nice amount of seasoning on it. Now, that doesn't mean we're gonna put a lot of salt on it. We're gonna always be mindful of the salt. Of course we are. I have to open that one up because it's brand new. Let's get us some garlic powder, and on purpose, we're putting a nice amount. Even though we're using fresh garlic clove or we're using fresh onion, you still use onion and garlic powder to bring home that flavor, okay? So now let's put the onion powder on. There we go, lovely. And then we're gonna put the chicken bouillon powder. And I'm gonna let these seasonings kind of really seep down into this beautiful beef for at least 20 minutes before we even go to cook it. But in the meantime, go ahead and preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it over. Here, I'll use these tongs here. Oh yeah, look at that, okay? I don't want to forget my Sazon. I want to put some Sazon onto this beef. Great color, and once again, great taste. It's always. You can use that Sazon for just about anything you cook. For stews, rices, noodle dishes. Absolutely, just use it because it's so wonderful. Okay, so here it is. It comes in this packet here, and you can purchase this at the dollar store now, and I'm so excited about that because you can get it at a cheaper price. I always like to keep this around for my meats and when I'm making the Puerto Rican rice, right? This is the good stuff. It has a natto seed in it, and a natto seed is what brings that gorgeous color to your rice, when you're making a rice. There we go. Lovely. Get all in those nooks and crannies. I'm going to flip it over. I may only need one seasoning packet. Oh, that fell apart, but it's okay. All right. Just like this. So now I need two. So now inside of this pan here, we're getting ready to sear off this meat. And I'm looking for somewhat like a charred color. What we're really trying to do, we're not trying to cook it in this pan, because this will be cooked in the oven. We want to get like a crust onto it, and that crust will help this to remain nice and juicy while it's in the oven, right? Okay, lovely. And then what we're going to do, once we let this set for about 20 minutes, let those spices seep down in, I'm going to come back And over here, I have a little bit of all-purpose flour. You can decide to incorporate the flour if you want, but you can also say, I don't want to use it. And if you don't use it, it's okay, I promise. Just trust me on that one. So now, after this sits for 20 minutes with the spices, we're going to dredge it in the flour. And in this pan that I have here, I've coated this pan just a tiny bit with a little bit of vegetable oil. And we're going to sear it off on both sides. Once we see that both sides of this meat is nice and charred, we're going to start chopping up our vegetables. I'm all excited. I went and opened up the parsley flakes, and I put some on top, and I also put the bouillon powder on this other side. Go ahead and chop up our vegetables while we let the spices and the meat kind of marry together, okay? Doesn't have to be any certain way that you're chopping your vegetables. Just get them in there and make sure you're washing them off. I see people in the local markets and they're sniffing the vegetables. They are. You know they are. They're shaking the vegetables. They're smelling them, all kinds of stuff. And I would rather wash mine off. By the time it gets to my house, it gets washed off. All right, there we go. Lovely. Let me make sure I don't have the sticker on there. Okay, beautiful. I'm just going to do a nice slice, nothing, you know, nothing too wild. If you wanted to chop it up, sure, you can do that as well. Not only does the bell peppers, the onions, the tomatoes and carrots bring great color to the recipe, it's bringing home that old school flavor. That flavor that you grew up eating grandmom's roast and you loved it, right? I know you did. And that's what we're making today. We're making old school roast, but Gina Young style. And you all are going to love this recipe. You're going to share it with your family and friends. And I want to hear from everybody how much you love this here roast recipe. Now, I'm just going to be honest. When you're making a roast, it takes some time. But one thing about having to wait on the roast to be cooked is so well worth it. It is so well worth it because we all love roast, right? I know you do. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Watch this. Same thing with these onions. I'm going to hurry up and chop it because I really don't want my eyes to water. And I feel like this is plenty enough right here. Okay, so let's set that aside. Now I want to talk about my garlic clove. I'm going to just knock it real quick. There we go. Just to take the skin off. And then I'm going to cut it into 2 pieces, right? But here's what I'm going to do super interesting. Watch this. I'm going to take this garlic clove. I'm going to nestle it down in the inside of the meat. You see that? Wherever there's a crack, stuff that garlic down in there. And when it's cooking, it's going to release great flavor into your meat. Right. So now here's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to juggle these 2 little things here. All right, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to take these potatoes. These is the kind I want you to use, or even an Idaho and a russet potato. Chop them. If you're using an Idaho and a russet potato, peel them, of course. But these ones here, these Yukon Golds, you never have to peel them because the skin is so soft, it's supple, and you can eat it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. If they're way too big, and these ones are great size, but for me, they're too big. Let's go ahead and cut them down, just like that. Nothing, you know, too hard. This roast recipe comes together so quickly. So now here's the thing. Back in the days when they would make a roast, they would throw everything into the pan and just let it all cook together, and some of your vegetables would be literally mush. I'm not looking for that, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to start the roast. Get the roast to cooking, and then halfway during the cooking process, then we'll come in and add our vegetables in so they don't get overcooked, okay? I love that technique. If you want to put them all in with the meat and cook everything all together, sure you can. But if you want to do it Gina Young style, wait a little while. Let the meat cook. Right? And then halfway through the cooking process, we'll put these lovely vegetables in. So you can see I got the bell peppers, the onions, the potatoes, and we have tomatoes. A lot of people don't like to put tomatoes in it, or a lot of people don't like cooked tomatoes. I happen to love a cooked tomato, so I'm putting it in there. It's not something that's authentically put into a roast, but I'm putting it in. Sure I am. And the type of carrots that I'm using, it's these little baby carrots. They're already peeled and they're nice size. You can use a fresh carrot, peel it down, and chop them to the size that you're looking for, okay? So now when I dredge this meat in the flour, we give it a nice sear. Believe it or not, that flour that we dredge the meat with, it kind of thickens up the little bit of liquid and broth that's in there, and it makes like a lovely gravy that you're going to absolutely love. We will be using some red wine in this recipe. Here's the thing, if you don't want to use wine or you can't use it, leave it out. Will it still be delicious? Sure it will. Absolutely it will. I'm not going to use the rest of these potatoes, but I'm going to show you how I like to cut the tomatoes, okay? Just in quarters. These tomatoes will not go in until literally like the last 5 minutes of the cooking process, because if you overcook these, they turn into mush. We're just basically putting them in there right before we take them out the oven. Just enough to heat them up, not enough to cook them, okay? Cooking them turns them into mush, all right? Lovely. I'm so happy with the way everything's going. We're getting ready to grab that meat, and we're going to dredge it in the flour and get it into this pan, and we'll turn the pan onto like a medium high to give it a nice sear off. All right, these vegetables look gorgeous. When I come back, we're dredging the meat. So now let's go ahead and we're going to dredge the meat and just lightly flour, right? We're not deep frying it, right? Just get you a little bit of flour on, okay? Hold on, we're gonna flip it over. Oh yeah. Whoo-hoo. Look, that right there is what I call well seasoned. Are you kidding me? All right, lovely. Grab some more flour. Nice dusting off. If for any chance that your cloves of garlic falls out of the meat, just stuff them back in there, okay? It's really that simple. Because sometimes that happens, you know, because really we just nestled it down in a little crease of the meat. I've had that happen where the garlic comes out and I just push it right back in that thing, okay? So the pan is nice and hot. Watch me, watch me. Oh yeah. That sizzle right there, if you don't see and hear that sizzle, just wait a second, okay? Got the heat on medium high. We're not looking to fully cook it. We're just looking to get a nice char onto the meat. I'm gonna wash my hands up, and I'll be back, of course. Go ahead and prepare our pan. This is a 9x13 baking dish, and we're going to be cooking our roast on 350 degrees, okay? All right, so now I have beef broth. Listen to me, I'm going to be honest. If you don't have beef broth or you don't have any broth, it's okay to use water. Sure it is. It's okay to use water, and then you're going to season it up real good, and it'll be just as good, okay? I'm telling you. All right, so I like to go in with a nice amount of broth, not too much, you know, but you get the gist. You know what? Here's what I'm thinking. I might want to I'm going to grab a bigger pan. I could just be honest, the reason why I grabbed such a bigger pan is because this is a nice amount of meat. Now, typically I would cook it in that one, but this is a big piece of meat. All right, so now we're getting some broth in, and I want my broth to come at least half the way up the meat. So what I mean by that, if the meat is this thick, I want the broth to be right here, right? So you get the gist of how much and why. Here's what I'm going to do. I want to put some flavor of the vegetables into the broth so it can seep into the meat. But even though I said we're not putting the vegetables in until later, I don't mind these turning into mush. I just want them to add flavor to the meat while it's cooking. So what are we doing? Am I using all of it? I'm not using all of it. Onions, some bell peppers, a couple carrots. All right, but like I said, for the most part, 90% of those vegetables, they're going in later. Like this right here, that's the perfect amount, okay? So we're good to go. Let's wait to this to get a nice char to it, and we're gonna deglaze our pan once we get a char, and we're using red wine to deglaze the pan. It gives it a great umami taste. If you don't want to use it, you can completely leave it out. I have some bouillon powder in the bottom of here. Every aspect of the recipe has to have flavor, right? Lovely. Be careful with the bouillon powder because it does have salt in it, so you just got to be mindful of how much you're using, but it's good stuff. This part is the part that I love. This is what makes this roast stand amongst all the other ones. We are doing tomato paste. Y'all, I love tomato paste so much, I could literally eat it like this. I'm not going to, but I could. Every time, there's never in lifetime a time where I've opened up tomato paste where I didn't and taste it, you know. I love tomato paste. Now, I'm going to use just about this much, okay? And then I save this, all right? So watch what we're going to do. Yes, it's in a clump. Don't worry, because during the cooking process, it'll bake up if you weren't able to get it to soften up a bit, okay? It's loosening up very great for me. If you don't have tomato paste or you just didn't want to use it, you can always use ketchup and replace it with tomato paste. It really does the same thing. What I feel like it does, it gives a nice rich taste that I'm always looking for. You hear me? Let's go ahead and turn this over. I can see, if I'm looking at it this way, the bottom of it has a nice golden brown color to it. That's always going to be your indication. Go ahead and flip it over because there's some brownness up under that thing, right? And we're going to flip it. Oh, yeah. Come on, we're moving in the right direction. Oh, yeah. And you know what's funny? That garlic piece fell out, right? But guess what I'm doing? It's right back in there. No worries, right? Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? Look at this. This is going to be amazing. When you take this step, it's going to assure you it's going to be nice and juicy. It's going to be nice and juicy, but you do have to cook it for some time to get it nice and tender, okay? In a couple minutes, we are going to, once we get that sear that we're looking for at the bottom, we're going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of red wine. Like I said, I just want to reiterate, you don't have to use it, but I'm using it today. I am so excited to have roast this evening. And here's the thing, I might make maybe some green beans on the side, but typically when I make roast, everything's already here. We got the potatoes, you know, we got the vegetables and the meat, maybe just a nice crusty bread to go along with it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take that wine because I have a nice char at the bottom. The oven has already preheated, and this is how I'm deglazing the pan. Just like that. Oh, yeah. Get that about 3 minutes, and then we're going to reincorporate this into here with any juices that's in this pan, any oil, any lovely bits that's in this pan. We're putting it right in here. All that's flavor that's inside of that pan. I'm all excited. We're going to take the meat out. All right? I got to be real careful with it. I don't want to stab it, and the reason why is because if you were to do that, all the juices that's inside is going to come running out, right? I know I'm using a knife here, but you get the gist of what we're looking for, right? And why not to stab it? Beautiful. Oh, yeah. So now inside of here, remember I told you all this good stuff? Let's scrape as much out as we can, oil and all, put it right in there. That's all good stuff into the oven. Don't worry for 1 second because I will be telling you when I'm going to incorporate all these lovely vegetables. Remember, these go in the last 5 minutes, and until now, we wait. It's about that time. Let's go ahead, put all those vegetables in, and they're going to be cooked to perfection by the way we did it this way. Lovely onions, green bell peppers, carrots, right? I don't use a whole lot of carrots, but you gotta have them in there. If you want to put some celery in, you know, you can do that too. So here's what we're gonna do. I put a little bit of broth in here because some of that broth, it naturally evaporates, right? So I put some more in there. This is going back into the oven. You can cover it or uncover it, whatever you want to do. But that last 5 minutes, we're gonna throw these a look. Oh my goodness, 1 hour and 45 minutes. Yes, it does take some time. It's going to cook just maybe another 10 minutes, okay? So here's what we're going to do. Go ahead and put your tomatoes in. If you decide you want them, look at the pop of color that it adds. Don't cook it too long once you put your tomatoes in. I have some lovely broth down here. It's almost turned into like a gravy because we decided to coat that meat in a lovely flour right before we seared it, and it really makes a difference. Look how gorgeous this is. Like, I could serve this just like this to my family, and guess what? I'm going to show you when I come back. When this comes out of the oven, I'm going to be able to take 2 forks and just shred the meat. That's the part you're really going to love. I was trying to figure out what type of bread did we want to have with this lovely roast this evening. I'm getting ready to take the roast out. because the tomatoes are done. So I said cornbread. And that's it. Cornbread it is. So now I've put 2 Jiffy mixes in here. I always use Jiffy. Yes, I can make it homemade, but do you really want to do that in the middle of the week? Jiffy ain't never let me down. It's so delicious. And I bump it up, right? I put some sugar in here because I like for my cornbread to have a little bit of sweetness to it. Not too sweet, right? And I also put some oil in here. They don't require you to use oil, but I put it in there because it makes it nice and moist. All right, so let's go ahead and mix it up. This is 2 boxes, and that will cover this pan here. This is an oven-proof pan. I'm going to throw this in the oven for 20 minutes, and dinner is served. I can't wait. I am salivating right now. The whole house smells amazing. I know if you knock at my door right now, you're going to smell how lovely it smells. All right, gorgeous. Let's mix this up. Get this in the oven, and when I come back, I'm shredding that meat apart for you. Let's go ahead, put this cornbread right into my pan, into the oven. I'm ready for dinner. Take a look at this. Now, come on, zoom right on in so they can see. This right here is a lovely pot roast. Now, you always want to let the meat rest. When you let it rest, the juices can kind of redistribute and stay into the meat. But what we're going to do, we're going to take this out. This is what I always do. Once we take it out, we'll put it onto a nice clean cutting board, and then we're going to either shred it apart or slice it apart, whatever you want to do, and then we incorporate it back into the same pan. I have to show you this. Remember I told you that juice will really turn into a nice light gravy? Look at that. Oh my goodness. Pour that over some mashed potatoes and call me back. Are you kidding me? I told you I've been drinking warm water, and this has cloves in it. There's like 2 cloves in there. Gives it like a, you know, the flavor of cloves, right? It's supposed to be really good for you. It's making me feel good. This is not medical advice. This is just what I've been doing, and I'm loving it, y'all. I've been drinking the warm water. Come on in so they can see. Oh, look, I don't even need the knife. Are you kidding me? Look, let's just shred it apart like that. Oh, we don't really need the knife. Are you kidding me? Yes. That's what this is all about. Continue to break this meat down. I'm not even going to say slice it because I ain't slicing it, right? Pull it apart. That's why it's so important to have patience when you're making this recipe. Some people's like, I'm not going to wait 2 hours, 2.5 hours on a roast. Well, you just won't have a roast, right? It won't be tender. When you take the time, I mean, it's shredding apart, right? You take the time, you wait on it, you don't rush it. This is what you get. I mean, this is shredded beef, right? Put it right back in. So right now, I can't resist. I can't resist. I know I'm doing it. Look, come, take a bite. I'm going in. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's so much flavor. Meat right back into our pan. Oh, yes. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, if I wake up to this in the morning, if there's more left, this is definitely breakfast. Yes, it will be breakfast. This video, give me a thumbs up. If you ain't subscribed, what you waiting on, tell your family and friends, tell the world what Gina's doing every single day on this platform. And Father, we thank you for this meal, your hedge of protection and your mighty love. Amen. Taste this. Because I want to sit down with my family, the cornbread's not ready. I want some cornbread. I'm going to take the cornbread in between my fingers like that, and I'm going to pick up the meat. You hear me? Yes, that's how I'm eating it today. I'm eating it with my hands today. Grab the cornbread, scoop them. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Make you some Gina Young style. Until the next video, good night. Just one more peek in at it.